Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Rune. So today we're doing Magic Gathering Top 10 Cave. And now, at number 10. By starting off with our list is Cryptic Caves from various sets. It's an uncommon going for only 10 cents on the market. Well, this one just basically says add a grade to your mana pool. But the ability is pay 1, sacrifice Cryptic Cave, draw a card, activate this own ability if you control 5 or more lands. So even on top of that, you gotta wait for 5 lands to do that ability. Again, for this Caves card, this is why it's at number 10 and nothing special. So let's just move on to number 9. Which at number 9, we got Ice Cave from Apocalypse or the List. It's a rare going for, that's right, only a whopping 50 cents on the market. This card is actually kind of cool. That's why it's at number 9, because it is playable in maybe commander decks, because it says whenever a player plays a spell, any other player may pay that spell's mana cost. If that player does, counter the spell. So it costs 5 mana, so it's pretty decent for what it can do to put in. So it's at number 9 for Caves, and I believe it deserved to be on this list. So let's move on to number 8, which is Rhystic Cave from Prophecy. It's an uncommon, that's right, for only 26 cents on the market. So far these caves are not very expensive, but we're talking about caves and not the Magic world in general. I really do like the artwork from this card, and it says add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, unless any player plays 1. So the reason why it's on the list is, well, because maybe the opponent or any player on the field can't pay that 1. So therefore, you get any color. So this is what, basically you're playing like chicken and the goose kind of thing. Really cool card. And so let's just move on to number 7. At number 7, we got Dromar's Cavern from Planeshift. It's an uncommon for going $1.37 at the market at the time of the video. This one is really cool because it's a layer in addition to its other land types, so you can use something toward that layer. But it comes into play, sacrifice unless you return a non-layer you control to its owner's hand. But because of that ability, you get choice of 3 mana to your mana pool. Basically, it's any mana color you want. This is the reason why it's at number 7 is, well, you do have to sacrifice, but at least it's not you have to wait for 5 land or anything like that. But it's very, very rare in the Magic world where you have 3 mana to choose from. That's why it's at number 7. So let's move on to number 6, which is Caves of Koilos. It's from various sets. It's a rare going for only 98 cents. The reason why this one is at 6 and not number 7 is because there is kind of like no hidden agenda, like you have to sacrifice land or anything. Basically, it only deals 1 damage to you. So it gives you the option of, say, adding 1 colors, or you can add a white or a swamp and it deals 1 damage to you, which is, I think, another incredible ability for a cave/land card, because you have that option. 1 damage, 20 life, isn't that difficult to use, so you might as well just keep painting yourself. Again, we're talking about caves, so this is a pretty good card, and it could be playable in the real Magic world. So let's move on halfway down our list to number 5, which is Caves of the Frost Giant from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. It's a rare one for $1.65. The reason for that at the time of this video is, well, it is part of the current standard. So once it's out of the standard rotation, this most likely will drop dramatically in price. Basically, it says if you control 2 or more other lands, it enters the battlefield tap. So you can add 1 white, but you can also, for 5 mana, basically make it a 3/4 white dragon creature with flying, which does help when you have no creatures in play. You can just use this card to attack, and then it'll turn back into a land. So let's move on to number 4, which we have is Gemstone Caverns from Time Spiral or Time Spiral Remastered or the List, therefore giving it a rare or a mythic value with an average price of $33.46 at the market time of this video. Now we're getting into real cards. Believe it or not, a lot of cave cards are actually very playable in the Magic world. So this is actually a very fun video that I had to make because a lot of these cards are actually very good. Basically, it says if Gemstone Caverns is in your opening hand and you're not playing first, you may begin the game with it in play with a luck counter on. If you do, remove a card in your hand from the game. And as you guys know, I'm a very fan of those things where you can play cards and just right away. Basically, it says add 1 to your mana pool. If Gemstone Cavern has a luck counter on, instead add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. So that is very impressive. It is a legendary land. That is the drawback. But with you get that first turn and you're not playing, this is absolutely incredible. It might not be very good in the later game, but it is very good. And that's why it's at number 4, because of it being a good chance in your first hand. So let's move on to number 3, That's right. At number 3, I actually put Goblin Caves at, which is from the dark, a common going on for only 57 cents, compared to the other card at number 4, which was $33. Basically, it says if target land is a basic mountain, all goblins gain +0/+2, which I actually really do like because if you're playing an all goblin deck, with only for 3 mana, you can really pump up those goblins, especially when those goblins are only like 1/1s. Most people may find that inefficient of your 3 mana usage once you be able to play the Goblin Caves because there are many other goblins you could play with that amount of mana. But when it comes to caves, I actually believe this is actually a very powerful cave card. And there's not much more to say that. So let's move on to number 2. And at number 2, we have Caverns of Despair from Legends. It's a rare, and it's going for $95.72, which if you take into account that it is an old school card, therefore it has increased more in value because of that. Does not mean it's good, but for caves, I think this is a very incredible card. It costs 4 mana for this enchant world, which is what they used back in the day. It says all players may attack with no more than 2 creatures each turn and block with no more than 2 creatures each turn. This is a very controlling card, especially when it's not blue. This is a red control card, and it's an enchant world. I think is just absolutely amazing because you will not see this card nowadays being used. And it's a very weird and unusual card. I like the card. It works well if you want to play a red control. That's about it. So let's move on to number 1. And that number 1 is an amazing card in the Magic world and another amazing cave card, which is Cavern of Souls from various sets. It's a rare or a mythic, depending on the set. Going for it, that's at a whopping $74.87 on the market. This is just an absolutely incredible card, incredible cave card. I don't even know how they even released such a good card because it says when it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. So tap it to add 1 to your mana pool, or add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Spend this mana only to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, which is very, very easy, and it can't be countered. Therefore, destroying any kind of blue deck in general that would counter this is absolutely incredible. Like, if you choose a creature type, you can basically choose any color you want and have this in play. And on top of that, it's not even legendary. It's just a regular land. You can have 4 of those in play. There's not much more to say about this incredible card. It is number 1 on the caves, and I am glad to get play with this card because it just makes theme decks so much easier. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and hope you guys have a good day and a good evening.